Mm.
All right.
All right. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello, it's Kevin.
Hey, Kevin?
Actually, let's back up again. Do it again.
Yeah, all right. Ring, 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 ring.
Good morning. Thank you for calling Legacy Protection Insurance. How can I help you?
Hey, my name is Dylan. I'm actually looking to get some. I saw one of your guys' ads on Facebook, and I was
Hmm.
looking for some whole life insurance.
Okay.
Awesome. I just wanted to see kind of how much this would cost me and just what you could really do with it.
Okay. Well, what is your purpose? What exactly are you trying to do? What's your end goal, your end game, what you're trying to do with the insurance policy?
Um, Really would just be to pay off some debt that I have and, set a couple of dollars aside a month for, my family just in case anything does happen, hardship comes by.
Okay. Well, exactly. Some of the questions I would need to ask you, if you're ready to go through a few questions here, just looking to using it for Misty. I am sorry. I am not prepared for this. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Kevin, you want to switch?
There you go.
Sure. Let's do it that way.
All right, cool.
Because I've got my stuff right here. It's just like I've gotten going back and forth to all these screens. I've got to have the stuff printed off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so I'm calling you.
Yep.
Okay. Ring, 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 ring,
Real
ring.
Red Insurance Agency. This is Dylan.
Hey, Dylan. My name's Kevin Lee. I was calling in reference to some life insurance. I had seen some of your ads out on Facebook, and also I've heard you through a few of my friends. Actually, you've done a good job for them. Looking for some life insurance. I want to be able to replace my income in case something were to happen to me, to
Okay.
make sure that my wife is taken care of and she's not left destitute whatsoever.
Gotcha. Awesome. So,
So, and I'm not quite sure what kind of insurance I'm looking for. It's either going to be a term insurance or a whole life policy. Kind of want to
gotcha.
find out what some of the benefits of going either way would be.
Sure. So with the term, just, general consensus would be a term is usually in that 20 to 30 year mark. And it's normally a large sum of money that is going to help if something does happen to you within those 20 or 30 years. It's going to help you like pay off your mortgage, any sort of car loans or anything that would be kind of left over after you are no longer here with us. Whole life is actually going to be good for building cash value, and it's actually going to gain you money over, the rest of your life. Which one sounds kind of closer to what you were looking to accomplish?
Well, what I'm looking for is a policy. I want to get the most amount of coverage I can for the least amount of money,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
not really looking. I've got investments on the side. I mean, I've got my own properties. I've owned businesses. I've sold businesses. Looking for something that would just replace my income to give
Okay.
my wife at least a 10-year window potentially to be able to, be self-sufficient. Again, I don't want to have her have to worry about getting remarried out of necessity. I want her to have a good life and
Right.
when it's time for me to go. So I'm kind of leaning more towards a term policy, like a 20-year level.
Okay. 20-year term. I gotcha. Awesome, man.
Yes,
So just to, reiterate, you're really just looking forward to make sure that she's going to be comfortable and make sure that she doesn't have to set up like a GoFundMe or anything like that.
correct,
Awesome, man.
correct.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we can definitely go ahead and what I can do is I can put some quotes together for you. We can get that emailed over to you. Take, a day or two, look over them, make sure that, hey, this is gonna fall in budget. I'm gonna send you a couple different options so that way you have them. The more
got it.
options, the better, is what I always say.
Sounds good. So
Let's do
are the
that.
go ahead. What are there some things you need to ask me in order to
Yeah.
get
So
myself ready?
yeah, I do have a couple questions. Number one, are you a smoker?
No, I am not.
Okay, gotcha. No sort of nicotine whatsoever.
No.
Awesome.
Nope. Actually, I've never smoked in my life, believe it or not.
Fantastic. Love to hear it. And then what about do you have any medical conditions, like diabetes or asthma, anything like that?
No,
Awesome.
do
Awesome, man.
not.
And when was your birthday, Kevin?
March 21st,
Awesome. And
62.
62. Gotcha. Perfect. And then, sorry, just looking over here. And then what about how much, roughly amount, how much do you weigh?
I think it's like 304.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome. Let me go
6
ahead.
foot, 6'2".
6'2". Awesome. That was just gonna be my next question is how tall are you? Awesome, man. So let me go ahead. Let me plug this into a couple different carriers. I'm gonna do a little shopping around.
Okay.
Similar to, a car dealership,
Yeah, I think I
except you don't
mentioned.
gotta go anywhere.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
I
perfect
mentioned. Yeah,
for
I
you.
don't take any medications at all.
Yep.
My cholesterol, if it means anything, is I've been told is phenomenal. It's like 155, and my HDL was 61 milligrams, which they said was pretty phenomenal for even my size or whatever.
Perfect.
So
Love to hear it. And
no blood
then
pressure problems.
no blood pressure. Gotcha.
Just got to get this weight off me.
Hey, it's all right. We all got a little something.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, we all have a little something, but thankfully I'm not on medications, which is good.
That was pretty good. There were a few things, yeah, like I feel like Kevin kind of,
It stumped me on.
yeah, well,
Ye-
kind of coached you on, like, like you
Yep.
didn't ask the prescriptions, and that's huge. You gotta
Yeah.
ask the prescriptions for the quoting tool, because you could have somebody who has like perfect everything, and then you find out they're on a blood thinner, and that's
Right.
a game changer. Um, so sometimes so always make sure, always ask prescription, height, weight, smoker, birthday. You were good about getting the why in the beginning in that medical history. Definitely, good on that. I
Cool.
want to do two different people.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Hi.
Hey, Mary.
Good morning, everyone. So when he was talking about the options between term and whole, I was thinking if it was me, I would ask, how old are you? Because it depends on how old they are, because some carriers, when you reach certain age, maybe age 70, it converts into a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the one thing. The second thing is that it's better to buy more just in case you get diagnosed with something, at least you're set in that rate. So
Yeah.
that's how I would do it.
The
Yeah.
the only thing in defense of Dylan, he did ask my birth date, which kind of gave him my age.
Yeah,
So-
no. This is not a criticism. This is
No,
just
no, no.
how because
She's
how
saying
would
more
we
up
know
front, ask it up
otherwise?
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was
Yeah,
waiting
no,
for
I get
that. That would be the first thing I would ask, just so that I know how many years, like 10, 20, 30,
Sure.
depending on their age, because you want to lock them in that rate.
That's the very first question I always ask is,
That, yeah.
let me
age.
start
And
with your
then-
birthday. Plus, it's
Yeah.
very invasive.
Yeah,
How was
and
your
then
birthday?
this is my, yeah, and this is my question now, because I don't know, to you, Misty, or to whoever has the answer. I know that when I did SBLI, I know when you reach certain age, like 70, it becomes convertible. Does that apply to all carriers?
Not all carriers, no.
know.
Prosperity does convert at age 75.
75.
Yeah, they have the option, they can convert at age 75. Most of them have renewability option, meaning like they're guaranteed
Yeah.
durability, where say they have a 15-year, like with AMAM, and say they outlive the 15-year, they can get into another term, but all term cuts off at age 80. So if they're going to end at
Yeah.
age 78, there's no sense, you're not going to put them in a term because it's only going to be for 2 years.
Right. The
Right.
other reflection I made, and I'm just thinking out loud, I don't know. When you think about whole life, is it necessarily, is it automatically going to be an investment, unless it's a universal life? Like when you talk about whole life, does it mean that it's a long-term investment, or it's just, a whole life, like it stays with you until you die, but it's not necessarily an investment? So
Mark's chomping to answer this one, I can see, so I'll let him take it.
It's really, really important. So this is a really big question, and this is actually a legal question, believe it or not. This is
Uh-huh.
a legal question. Under no circumstances, absolutely no circumstances, should you ever use the word investment to describe a life insurance contract.
Even when it's a universal.
Even when it's a universal, you are
Huh.
absolutely not allowed to call it an investment. You are not allowed to sell it as an investment. It is not an investment. It is a contract.
Well, I was trying to get, when I was trying to sell a UL, I used to say, you know, half of it is a, death, whatever, and life insurance, and the other, huh?
A death benefit.
Death benefit.
Yeah.
And the other half is an investment that would earn you 4.55%, if I remember well, with foresters. So that's how I was trying to pitch it to them.
So if you have any verbiage from foresters that calls it investment, I would love to see that. So anybody here who's recently passed a test, what is another name for universal life insurance, or how would you describe universal life insurance?
Cash value.
Okay, so in the exam and in your training material, universal life insurance could also be described as annually renewable term with a cash value savings account.
So it's a savings account.
Correct. We cannot, those words are not interchangeable. Savings and investments are not interchangeable. So
Huh.
savings is the implication that there's some kind of guarantee that it's not going to disappear. You're saving it, it earns interest. It's a savings account. An investment,
Can you repeat that?
Universal life insurance is annually renewable term with a cash value savings account.
Thank you.
Cash.
Mhm.
savings.
And so under no circumstances should we ever market insurance contracts as investments. They may appear to be investments and they may perform like investments, but they are not investments. Investments by nature come with risk. And as far as I know, nobody here has well, maybe a couple people have a license to deal in risk. Most of us do not have a license to deal with variable products that come with risk. Variable products can be described as investments.
Yeah, if I remember right, at least the Smart UL, it had like 2.5 guaranteed, and it would
2%.
be, it go up to 4.55, but then it's not guaranteed. But I'm glad that you mentioned that you can't call it an investment. I was trying to sell it as an investment, like to make them think, well, you know, part of it is a death benefit and the other is an investment in case, just actually that the way I was describing it at that time, and you know, when I was trying to sell it, that it has living benefits and that you can borrow against it, and then you can like if let's say you lose your job and you wanted to waiver premiums, right? That you want to stop paying your premiums. The premiums can come out of that investment, or that, you know, the gain that you make through the years. That's how
Those are
I-
two very different things. So waiver premium will cover the premium for you. And then when you're talking about over the years for like that cash value to pay for the premiums, those are two very different things. You kind of merged them there. So like on a whole life client, once they build cash value, they have the option, they can do a cash dividend for most, or they can use the cash value to pay for their premiums.
There you go. That's what I meant.
Premium
Exactly.
paid up, yep. So they can,
That's-
yeah. It's just wording. Just those are little
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
easy fixes. Very wording. When I sell the UL, and it's a 2% floor for the Smart Universal,
not 2.5, right?
right? 2%. And you never want to put any of that in writing if you're not sure, because that could come back on you legally. That's where your errors in admission, because they'd be like, nope, Miriam told me it's 2.55% floor.
No,
and
no, no.
2%
I would
floor.
not.
So you-
No, I if I don't find, you know, a description on the website and send them, you know,
There you go.
the Eagle document, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna invent it or write it in the email, because
I love to use the word parking. I always
Huh?
tell my clients, I use the word parking. It's better
Yeah.
to park your money in a plan like this that's an asset rather
Mhm.
than parking it in the bank where you're lucky to make half percent to maybe 1%. Because this does give you a
Hardly.
2% floor. And a lot of times they're like, what's a floor? I'm like, that's the minimum you can make. You're guaranteed you're gonna make 2%. When you're explaining that one. I love that plan, by the way.
Yeah, I loved it. And then the scholarship for the kids, that's another cherry on top. So I love
Scholarship, grant,
smart you will.
orphans, children benefit, they get a free will.
Tickets.
Tickets, free tickets to events. Yep, Jason and I just got an email the other day. I haven't opened it yet, but there's something local going on.
But Forrester's most valuable member benefit is the orphan rider. So when you have
you
parents,
go.
and if the parents are killed, whoever gets custody of the kids gets $800 per month per kid till they turn 18.
800. I thought it was 900. I don't know
You're
why.
gonna say
900.
800, and they'll get that 900, and they'll be like, "Oh, he said it was 8. It's 800. It's 9."
Yeah.
You just
Are you
tell them
sure?
And the scholarship, huh?
Are you sure it's 8, Mark? I thought it was 9
I
as
think
well.
it was 900.
I
Oh,
know.
it is 9. You're gonna under promise and over deliver. You're gonna say 800.
I love Mark's style.
The scholarship was like 2,500 per year, but they would have to apply for it, and they have to it's a full-fledged application where they have to show that they earn it like every year.
It's 900. I just
Yeah,
double checked.
that's what I thought.
But I like that under promise and over deliver.
Yes, I like it.
It really helps when you do the policy review, when they get the policy and like, let me show you those member benefits. And they're like, oh, you said it was 800. It says 900 here. They're like,
wow.
oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and remember when you get Mutual of Omaha back, Mutual of Omaha changed on their accidental plan. It's now 50% more if it's a vehicle accident.
Instead of 20,
Huh.
was
It used to be
25, right?
Yeah, now it's 50%. So I went back on most of the like templates for the copy and paste. Most of them I've changed it, so it should say 50%.
Okay.
So any other feedback on that role playing? Dylan, anything you think you could have done differently? Kevin, anything you could have or observed differently?
Let's see here. No question, I did lead him on a few things, like Misty was saying, but maybe I was just trying to help him along. I have no
Well,
room
you're
to talk
leading
'cause
him was actually the questions that you would have asked had you been the
Yep.
producer. So,
correct.
yeah, so you're good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I think it's a comfort thing, getting used to asking the questions and, just going through the motions.
I
I've
heard
got all
income
my
replacement.
Yeah.
Did I hear a beneficiary?
no,
you
did not bring it up.
Yeah,
You
no.
did
No.
not. We did
Well,
not bring it
I
up.
kind of implied because I said I
Wife.
wanted to make sure my wife
Right,
wasn't
yeah.
Yeah.
left destitute.
Yeah.
Didn't ask for the wife's
I didn't ask for the
birthday.
wife's name.
Was there
birthday.
an amount of income that needed to be replaced?
No, that was not brought up. And I was
That
going to
was not
ask
brought up.
I was going to ask the question. I said, how much should I consider getting? I was always told that at least 10 years worth of income.
Depending on what you qualify for, right? And
Exactly.
But
then,
yeah, some
Uh-huh.
carriers limit you to 8 years of income.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and then was there a date to review the options? I know there was take a couple days, but did I hear a day or time, an expectation to reconnect and review those and close that up?
No.
No.
All the questions to ask guys are on the website, and I posted them on our group chat too. Get very, very familiar and comfortable with
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm embarrassed. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry, Misty, but I'm going to print these suckers off. So I've got
Kevin,
them and
hold
just
your
going to
hand
live 'em.
out. Hold your hand out. Now take the other hand and smack it. Nope, no, take
Do-
it and smack the other
Take-
hand.
Do yourself.
Self with intent.
Misty,
Yeah.
Misty,
Kevin,
believe it or not,
It's
that
like
hurt.
this.
That hurt. That hurt. I'll get prepared for the
Learning
next
is
time
always
around.
helpful.
Yeah, guys,
I'll
whenever I post something, take advantage of it. Because seriously, like I did not have
Yeah.
any of these resources when I came up. Y'all met Ian. Like Ian didn't coach, Ian didn't train. I saw Ian write 2 apps in the 3 years I was there. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not talking, but I am talking. I had to
Well,
figure
then
out a
how
lot of
did he
this
get
stuff.
to, if he only wrote 2 apps or whatever, how did he get to that level where he could reap the benefit?
Well, she only saw him do it,
Aw.
but
He hired
He
He
knew how to
hired
recruit.
very good producers. He hired people that were self-motivated, independent, and highly intelligent.
i.e. Misty.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
The smart UL thing, just getting back to that a little bit, depending on the amount, just reminded me, depending on when you write that, depending on the amount that you do for the child, if it's a high amount, the parents are going to have double the amount on themselves. So if you didn't know that, so if you get like $100,000 policy for a kid, the parents have to have at least 200,000 on themselves.
Uh-huh.
They'll come back to you. Forces will come back
Oh.
to you and, you know, ask you why, you know, you have this much on this kid, and you may have to prove that you have the amount on yourself. So just for
Makes
future
sense.
reference.
It's a
Yeah, you
very
got
good
those
point.
too.
Good
General rule
point.
of thumb, you can't insure your kids more than you're insured. Some carriers, as Andre just described, have some other stipulations, but general rule of thumb, people can't put more coverage on their kids than they have on themselves
Makes sense.
for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I felt like there was not a lot of give and take as far as getting to know each other,
Report
which
call.
in reality takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes of warm up. You know, you just called him, almost a cold call, and we jumped right into whole or term, and there was no, hey, what do you do? Tell me a little bit about your, you know, family, you know, just kind of get some rapport going, instead of jumping right into the facts and features.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick on Jason since he's actually on the call. He needs to start participating more. So I'm gonna role play with him. He's gonna be the client. I'm gonna be the agent. And he's very dry. For those of you who don't know Jason, he's a very dry guy. You got to pull stuff out of him. So he's gonna be your typical client. So
What up, Jason?
ring ring.
Hello.
Hey Jason, this is Misty with the First Responder Life Insurance. The life insurance you requested more info on. How are you?
Good. What's this about?
You had requested some information on the life insurance for first responders, so I'm calling so I can get you some of your enrollment options to take a look at. Can I start with your birthday?
2975.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. Young buck, nice. What do? You fire? Are you police?
I'm a fire medic.
Oh, God bless you. I could never do what you guys do. I'm married to a fire medic. Thanks for showing up, because I know you guys see some pretty unseeable scenes, so I can definitely see why you're looking into this. I just got to ask you just a couple basic questions, and then we'll be able to get your options sent right over to you. Jason, just roughly, how tall are you?
5'8",
5'8", perfect. Roughly, on an average, how much you weigh?
170.
170, okay. Good build. Must hit the gym, okay. Any prescriptions you take daily?
No.
No? You're doing real good. Okay. Any past medical history I need to know? Any heart, stroke, cancer? Are you diabetic by chance?
No.
Perfect. Okay. Any one-off surgeries the last 3 years?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
You are my classic client. So you're perfectly healthy. 5'8", 170, 2975. And then do you have a rough ballpark how much coverage you're looking for?
5 million. 500,000.
500,000? Okay.
5 million.
I mean, I can get you 5 million.
Yeah.
You know, you want to sleep
You
with
got-
one eye open? Are you looking to set this up for your spouse or your kids? Like, who'd you have?
Just coverage in case something happens.
Just general coverage? Okay. So you're trying to cover like a mortgage?
Yes.
Okay. Just trying to figure out where the 500,000 came. Okay.
I don't want to make her too rich for her boyfriend, so you know, just enough to pay off the house.
It's enough to pay off the house. Gotcha. All right. So 500,000 would cover that?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. All right, Jason, you're not a smoker, right?
No.
Perfect. Not going to start on me as soon as I get your options.
Mm-mm.
That's good. Perfect. Perfect. How long you been in the industry?
8 years.
Oh, wow. Yep. You've definitely seen some stuff. All right, Jason, I'll get working on this. Should take me I should have it to you here in just a little bit. I'll shoot you a text once I have it. That way you can kind of take the next day or two, look over it. Today's Monday. Do you have any time Wednesday that we can go over the options? I don't know what day you're on shift.
Yeah, you can give me a call.
Wednesday's good. You're not on shift on Wednesday?
No,
Perfect. Okay.
technically I am, but for this, no.
So Wednesday is good. Do you prefer mornings or afternoons?
Afternoons.
Wednesday afternoon. Okay, perfect. Okay. Give me a little bit and I'll get your enrollment options sent right over. I'll send you a text and an email both. That way you know I've sent the email. If you have any questions, when you're looking it over, just reach out. You can call, text, email, whatever's easier for you. And then I will reach out to you on Wednesday afternoon and we'll go over your options and see which one fits you best and we'll help you get enrolled. It's a pretty easy enrollment process too. Don't worry. I'm not coming out to collect any blood or urine. That's all yours. You can keep it. It's just answer a couple basic health questions and then you'll sign for via text or email, depending on which one comes back best for you. Any questions for me?
Mm-mm.
Perfect. Do you have a spouse that needs coverage as well? You want me to include them in the options?
Yeah, Misty. She has terrible eating habits.
Not sure what her terrible eating habits have to do with her life insurance, but okay.
Cookies and carbs.
When's Misty's birthday?
11/7/75.
Oh my God, he passed. And roughly how tall is Misty?
Not very. Collar on her wallet, but these days not so much.
And roughly how much does Misty weigh?
About 105.
All right. Any daily prescription she takes?
No.
Any medical history that you are aware of for Misty as well?
Well, if she went to the doctor, she'd have one.
Well, I don't think so. She just had some blood work done earlier this year and they said she was great.
Miracles do happen.
Is she a smoker?
No,
All right. And you're looking for about 500,000 on her as well?
that's fine.
Okay. Yep. I'll work on both of these and I'll get them over to you here shortly. All right. I'll talk to you Wednesday. Thanks again.
Guys, I have something to add on that. So when you're talking to that prospect, especially fire and police, we're very, very short with our time because we're always got our hands, like we're always on the go. Okay. I mean, the first thing is it can take you 3 times to pinch off a number 2 in the station, because every time you sit on that seat, there must be a button that tells EMS, 911, the call comes out. So our life is constantly like that. So while you've got us on the phone, each time that you're talking to us, pull a bit of information out of us. So like, are you on any medications? Yeah, I take, Zyrtec, that's generic over the counter. Well, yeah, what do you take that for? Start writing notes on a piece of paper, because you need that quoting tool to be able to run them so you don't A, waste your time, and B, you're able to give them the right options. But as you have them on the phone, like, be apologetic. Hey, I recognize your time, but hey, while I got you, what medications do you take? Oh, you take this one? What do you take that for? When was the last time you were seen? When was the last time you saw your doctor? Da, da, da. Try to get as much of that medical info that you can, so that when you put that info in the quoter, you're able to write down and get them some good quotes. Because then, you're going to get on the phone, you're going to be talking to them, you're going to give them that quote the next time that you talk to them. And remember, they're like rushing off to do like 10 things. And then you're going to find out, oh, I take this. So now you got to requote them. And don't be shy. Like, I've got one guy, Eric, I kid you not, I have been talking to Eric 2 weeks.
His app in parts.
I've got it literally. He is a truck driver, and he's also the equivalent of a sheriff deputy in like Odessa, Texas. This guy works around the clock, and I got him while I was at the station the other day. All I need is his routing number and his checking account number and his driver's license number to send off the app. And you would not believe how long it's taken me to get to this point. And I'm going to reach out to him again today, but this is how Eric is. He
started when we were in Michigan, put it that way.
He's a classic example of EMS. You're going to have multiple people that you're going to be chasing. It's constant fishing. So have enough of them to talk to on a regular basis, and grab as much info as you can each time you talk to them. It's the best advice.
2 things there that Jason, that you said was, ask about the prescriptions and what are you taking it for?
Yes.
Because that's going to help you in the background. If something comes up and it's a quasi decline or a full decline and MIB is called in, then you're going to want to know why that prescription was called out. And if you can explain, or the client can explain, well, I'm taking it for A instead of B, then they're more likely to underwrite it for you. The second thing is I have this fabulous app called Genius Scan. It's a wonderful little app. So when you're looking for your checking account routing and account number, just have them write void across the app, void across the check, put their phone down, Genius scan it and ship it off to you, and you've got it. It's like within seconds. So it's something I use regularly for anybody that wants documents from me.
Thanks.
There's also Genius Facts, but nobody uses Facts anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah, the other reason why you want to ask what prescriptions is when you're in the quoting tool, like gabapentin's a good one to use as an example. It has drop down. It's going to ask you, are they on gabapentin for diabetes, or are they on gabapentin for nerve pain? And it does matter which one they're taking it for.
It's used for pain as well.
Yeah, and pain. So it matters why they're using it. So you want to get that information, because if pardon my French, if I half-ass and I'm like, hey, Jason, yeah, so you're on Ozempic, and say he's on for weight loss, and I put that he's diabetic, I may have just not given him accurate information. He may have qualified for a lot more, or vice versa. If he's diabetic and he's on, and I assume because he gave me a bill that he's on it for weight loss instead of drilling down, and he's diabetic, that makes a difference. So don't try to cut that corner. And some of the training videos on the website, that goes, I got to replace those with how it says, well, we're just after the birthday. I've got some leads I'm going to call today, so I'll be replacing those training videos with today training calls. So if you watch those ones, kind of disregard that. We're after a lot more than just the birthday. We got to get that medical background, those prescriptions.
And med background is going to be very important. I mean, Misty and I just realized over the weekend, actually, or the latter part of the week, that when she mentioned Baltimore Life a while ago, we had a lot of people at our previous venture that just didn't fit into their mold or box, and we've realized that man, we had a lot of prospects that we had great conversation with, and then we just couldn't get them covered. So Misty and I had this difficult case for the past couple weeks, and she could tell you more about the story and tell you all the medical history that this guy has. And Baltimore Life covered him. She got green checks all across the board. And at that point, it was just negotiating skills, just negotiating. You already know how much about he wants to spend. Look, I know it's not the perfect scenario that you want. You want $500,000, but reality is you can only qualify for X. Let's fill the gap with some accidental. And it is what it is. I mean, when your health gets better, maybe we can shop around. But Baltimore Life seems to be a really, really good solution for those that have health issues. And I'll tell you, the people that come to you with 10 different prescriptions, they have a hard time getting coverage. So we have a lot of carriers, and we're able to fill that gap. So as long as they're still talking to you, try to negotiate them down. I mean, something is better than nothing. I mean, I know I need $150,000 because I need to leave my wife, the house paid off. The life isn't perfect. We all know that. And sometimes you got to tell people that. I mean, what would you rather have? You die and your wife is having to come up with $19,000 tomorrow to try to bury you, or not have any money? So we have to have these conversations with folks, and sometimes you just got to tell them, look, I know this isn't the perfect scenario, but have you thought about this? 50,000 and a 200,000 accidental, and go into your spill. 1 in 3 deaths in America is accidental. So I know it's not what you're looking for, but something's better than nothing.
Yeah, especially if you're talking to, a first responder, they know more than others. The accidental deaths happen every single day. So it is not hard to sell them that coverage for sure. And then, but come to Jesus where yep, I know you want 500,000, but based on this is what you can get. And that's better than nothing.
And GTL told us they didn't have any holds on first responders.
Correct.
Right? So that's another plus. What?
GTL is going to be for a guy like me that has no prescriptions, no medical history, I mean, they want a clean client, you know,
Really
and I
healthy.
get it. I mean, so that's our sweet spot, but then you pick your secondary term or tertiary term, you know, that accepts some conditions. And we all know Baltimore Life. I mean, Misty, tell Scott's like background, like the medication.
Scott had an SPLI policy with me. We did his application almost 2 years ago. They just did their review and they rescinded his policy and said he lied on it, that he had heart disease. And he's a sheriff deputy, so he called me and he's like, Misty, I didn't lie on my policy. I don't have heart disease. I'm like, well, we got to get this removed off your MIB if it's coming up. So first thing he did is he got his MIB, and sure enough, his doctor put that he had heart disease. He calls the doctor and he's like, I don't have heart disease. And she's like, yes, you do. And he's like, it was odd because he was not on any prescriptions for heart disease. In fact, they were taking him off his blood pressure medicine, which didn't make sense if you have heart disease. So, because I was like, Jason, does this make sense? His doctor's saying he has heart disease, but his general doctor's taking him off his blood pressure med. And he's like, then he's also diabetic on top of that. And then he had something else going against him. So he had a lot of stuff that just kept stacking up. And then he didn't have the greatest build either. So we tried foresters. We even tried fully underwritten foresters, like to go. And they were like, nope, based on prescription history, won't touch him. It's like, geez. So I'm like, got a Baltimore Life and remembered, hey, they have a pre-qualification. Doesn't hurt to see if you pre-screen on that A priority. It's a 2-part application. You cannot do the application until you do the pre-qual. So I was like, well, Scott, let's just see where you come in with this one. He's like, all right, you know, if you think this is best, let's do it. So I sent him the pre-qual, came through green lights all across the board. I was like, you're green lighted all across the board because you're going to have a green light. For those of you who are in Orlando, that's the first carrier that trained us. It's a green light, means that they're good to go. Yellow says should qualify, might get flagged, proceed with caution. Red, don't even attempt. I don't think it'll even let you go forward because when you go to part 2, it makes you put in what their pre-qualifying number is. So write it down. It also shows up on a list, but you got to remember it doesn't say the name. So you got to go and know the number, your guy's number, to know which one it is. And it'll tell you whether then it asks, did it say that your client would qualify? I think if you put no, it won't let you proceed. So we put yes, because it did. And he was instantly approved at the very end. Like, it was like, congrats, here's his policy number. I was like, God damn, that was easy. And I've been working on this guy for weeks.
Mhm.
And then the very next guy I got, the same thing, like, just diagnosed with AFib last year. It was female, diagnosed with AFib last year, reached back out to me. And I was like, when did you have AFib? She's like, June of 2023. I'm like, oh man, less than 2 years even. I'm like, well, you know what? Let's pre-qualify you with this one carrier. I think they're going to be your best option. Because I sent her the Mutual of Omaha, an accidental combo at first. And she was like, being a first responder, she was like, you know what? I like the accident, but I'd rather have more of the whole life. I know it's going to cost me more. So that tells me she's been shopping. She knows what she's looking at, what she's doing. I'm like, all right, Janine, here's your options. On Baltimore Life, you can go up to 150,000, but pay attention to the details. If you go over 75,000, they are going to require a medical exam. So it was like, we can go up to 75 with no blood and urine. Anything beyond 75, we can go up to 150, but it's going to be about $300 and something a month. And we're going to have to do a physical. She's like, let's do the 75. It's like $248 a month. And she was like, that's the best I've seen. She's like, nobody else has been able to get me up that high. She's like, so yeah. She goes, let me talk to my wife and Monday, let's do this. So we should be writing her later today. And again, she's pre-qualified. And they have nothing to lose by qualifying them on that, because if they get flagged, it doesn't show up as a decline on their MIB. It's a pre-qualifying. So it's what they call a soft decline. If they don't qualify, it's not going to show up as a decline. So it's a good thing. But get in there when you get your carriers, because it literally took me 3 days and watching the training video over and over to figure out how to get to the app for that one. Because guys, A priority with Baltimore Life, GTL, and Prosperity are all proprietary plans, which means they're not open to every agent out there or agency. We have access to them through Hartford since we got to go under their You know, they're large integrity IMO.
Heartland.
Yeah, so we do have to make sure, like Mike mentioned it when he was training us on GTL, we do not want to put, this is not like SBLI. We don't want to put things through and pray it goes through because they get charged $250 every decline. We get a bunch of declines, they're going to drop us and we're going to lose that. We don't want to lose that. So make sure that you are using the quoting tool. If it does not recommend GTL, you should not be looking at GTL. If it doesn't recognize Prosperity, do not use Prosperity. Prosperity has already actually threatened to drop us.
How
Because
do I get the quoting tool?
the quoting tool, so we get you access once we get you in their training. So you'll get access to that this week.
Okay.
And a priority, you got to figure out if it's not suggesting a priority, if it's suggesting I provide, then you're going to I provide, not a priority. There's two different ones. But the A priority has its own application. That's why it was hard to find. So get in there and get familiar because you don't want to be on with a client and be like, how the heck do I find the application? Which I'll admit that was me the first time we wrote Prosperity. I was like, hey, Scott, can I call you back? Because I can't find the application. Luckily, it was a client and it was Scott, the one that we just put in Baltimore Life. So I'd known him for a while and he was a Facebook friend too. And so he was a little bit more forgiving. But if that was somebody I had no relationship with, I would have been mortified being like, can I call you back as soon as I find that application? Because that looks very unprofessional.
That's for which one?
They're all a little bit difficult to find.
Okay.
It took us a minute to find Great Western. And then Great Western, if you're licensed in multiple states, you definitely want to check them out because they only had 3 of the licenses of like the 20 some we had listed. So I had to send an email and they're like, yeah, it's 3 to 5 business days. And I'm like, we have 2 apps that we need to write now. So they're like, oh, call in.
And I was able to call in and next morning it was done. So I called their back office. I've got their sales support on my phone and, notified them, hey guys, you don't have my app, my licenses for these states and I've got 2 apps I need to write. And so they put in a rush ticket and I called back the next morning and it was good to go. So they're pretty quick.
I will say everybody's customer service that we worked with, like Baltimore Life, GTL, Great Western, everybody I've spoke with, all really nice, friendly people. Really, really nice. Anybody have any questions or any subjects they want to go over this week?
You mentioned early on, Misty, about the what do we do for advertising, marketing. I didn't give you the answer, but I'm really going to put on full court press to get going this week, get our ads launched. I just want to say that. Now I'm holding myself accountable to get it done.
So I'm going to hold you accountable by the time you're in small group training. I want you to have those questions down.
Yep. That'll work.
So, question, does everybody have, I know this is a blonde question, I'm so sorry. Does everybody have their business license through their local municipality for the business that they have under their name?
We do. We have our S corp.
Sole proprietorship business license?
I have it
Everybody
registered
does.
in the state of Michigan and
Yes,
also
I do.
IRS.
Okay, all right, just checking.
And Andre's working on his, but Andre, you have like 13, you have quite a few states too.
Yeah, I have my business license in Arizona. And I have it in 8 other states. So I'm just waiting for some other states that take a little longer.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
And Misty, you're in Hernando, is it Hernando County?
Yep, we're in Hernando.
And how easy was that? Did you do it online?
We did ours online, yeah.
Okay, all right, Florida,
I
Florida.
got a color.
Okay, get it done. Because I don't want to go any farther until I've got that.
Is that something I need to do?
No, you just got your primary license right now, so you're good with that. And guys, you can set your S corp up. You don't have to have your business license for your actual license you can do it like Jason and I, we have our personal licenses, but then our S corp is set up. It just
Mhm.
depends on how your CPA sets you up. Like our CPA, but I mean, Andre is an accountant as well, or he has an accountant degree. That's why I thought he played college ball. In my defense, he did say he just graduated from college, I think, when I interviewed him. That's why they say you shouldn't assume, but um, so I mean he's here to answer all your accounting questions too. And he's gonna do all your taxes next year for everybody as well.
Yay.
See, he just said he was number one. um he's this girl. That's what you get for getting us all, drunk on tequila. Nobody's gonna let you let that go for a while.
You should get signatures, Andre. You should have gotten signatures under tequila, not duress. I'll sign up.
But yeah, it's just how
Tequila.
you set your stuff up.
Okay, got it. Point A to point B to point C.
Anything else this week? Otherwise, I'm gonna let you guys go because a lot of you I'm gonna talk to tomorrow again.
There's one more thing on that tax thing on how you set it up. It's all done on your social security number, right? If you have an S corp, it's done on your EIN.
Yeah.
So however you want to be taxed, like she said, talk to your accountant. There's a difference, and there's and depending on if you're hiring people, there's employment and unemployment taxes and all that kind of stuff that you have to be aware of. But you talk to a tax advisor that can help you out a little bit further with that. But there is a difference.
Thank
In
you.
Florida, it's like every employer you hire, I think it's like $1,200 or $1,500 tax, like pre-tax you have to pay the state that they keep on file, just to tax you for, I guess, just to tax you. Because I was like, what do you mean I got to pay $1,500 just to hire somebody, like to pre-tax them, even if they're 1099? I'm like,
Florida is weird. It's just weird. It's got some really great bennies and some really unusual ones.
All about money.
you.
Yeah.
All right, if you guys don't have anything else, go get it.
Okay.
It's
Thank
Let's
you
go.
so
guys.
much.
Awesome.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Have a
Thank you,
prosperous
guys.
day, everyone.
All right,
All right,
bye,
you
guys.
See you Tuesday
Thank
night.
you. Have a good
Misty.
day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.